Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bangers and Mosh, the podcast coming to you from the Gilded Chambers. I'm Jimmy,
I'm Daz.
and today we're stoked to be joined by Ben Hutcherson of Khemmis. Dude, cheers for hanging out with us this evening, man.
Hey, right on, my friends. Thank you for having me. It's wonderful to join you here in the gilded chambers of Bangers and Mosh.
Oh, we should have got you to do the intro. That's a much better voice than mine. Um, Dude, firstly, I've got to say, congratulations on the new album. Like, I've been a fan for a long time, and I'll confidently say that this is the best Chemist record to date.
Thank you so very much for saying that. I mean, certainly I think anybody that creates anything wants to feel that their most recent thing is their most compelling thing. But also to hear that from someone else, to know that it is resonating with folks, to that extent, and that it's landing the way you want it to land, is always, very satisfying. I mean, at the end of the day, like, we make the album we want to make because that's the only way you can do it. If you try to guess what people want to hear, you're gonna miss 100% of the time. It's gonna be a bunch of contrived nonsense.
Yeah.
But all of that said, it's still nice when other people like what you do.
Absolutely, man. Like, it's a couple of weeks until the album comes out. Like, what's it like for you at this point, just sitting and waiting for the world to hear it when you've lived with these songs now for a little while?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely exciting. There is always that element of hurry up and wait, and the further along into the music business you get, the more of that there is. The longer the lead times, the longer. I mean, talking about lead times, thank you, pop music world, for discovering vinyl, so that now our pressing times have gone from, a few weeks to 6 months. Thanks, Taylor Swift, for using every vinyl pressing plant in the world to press your stuff.
Yeah.
But it's such a relief to finally have it out and to be able to even just talk about it. Like, to have to play coy about your own music when talking to people before it gets announced and the press cycle starts, and you're like, I don't know, maybe we have new music coming. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Dude, something that was really evident to me when I listened to this album for the first time was just like how upbeat and instant this album was. Like with Chemist, the previous albums, I've always found that they're albums that they're a bit like an onion. They sort of unravel themselves over listens, and they slowly worm their way into your conscious. But this one was just like it hit from the minute you press play. Was that a conscious decision going into the writing for this, or was it just organically
Yeah,
panned out
no,
like
it,
that?
it absolutely was. We knew that we wanted to write. I think it's Zach put it at some point, an album full of bangers. That
Yeah.
it's it's easy the later you get into your career. That's such a weird phrase to, dude. It blows my mind that we have 5 albums. Like, I can't believe we made it past one, just because, like, so many bands are, you one and done. 5 albums, holy crap. Um, but the longer you do it, the easier it is to fall into, I don't even want to say the trap, but the to see how appealing it is to write stuff that is grander in scope and more densely layered and more sort of emotionally and narratively complex, that you get these compositions that exist on an album that you just can't recreate to the same extent live. I mean, we've played most of the songs we've written live at this point. There's a few that we haven't, but there is something to be said about prioritizing the degree to which a song translates live
Yeah.
in that song's
Right.
genesis, or in this case, this album's genesis. And that it was also a moment for us to reconnect to the energy that we felt when we first started this band, when there was no sense of, well, how will it sound on an album and how many layers can we get in. We weren't thinking about albums. We were like, let's write some songs so we can play some shows and ideally get some free beers out of it. you know just the most, caveman level thinking. But in doing that, you wind up writing songs that have to crush live. You can't play stuff live and then be like, and then just wait till you hear it on the record. It's really going to have a lot going on. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that at all. So, knowing that we wanted to have an album full of songs like that, that we wanted to write shorter, tighter, for us, faster songs, I mean, it's not, this is not a speed metal opus by any means, but, for us, every song is above 100 BPMs, which is already kind of a landmark moment in our discography. Um, and knowing that every moment of every song is there because it will hold the listener's attention in a live context just as well as it will translate on record
Yeah.
was a really important sort of guiding principle for us in writing this album.
That's cool, man. Like it's still undeniably Chemist, but there's like that like fist in the air anthemic heavy metal feel to it, which is great. And the singles, I think you've chosen so well. The two singles, like Beneath the Scythe is a perfect single choice. It's got that unmistakable Chemist chorus section, but then you've got that maiden gallop to it, which
Yes,
it's the
yes.
two worlds combining so brilliantly.
Thank you so much for saying that. It's someone asked me in a recent interview, are we a doom band? And I said, I don't think we've ever been a doom band in the sense of how we, on a surface level, tend to categorize bands. Um, and so, in that sense, it doesn't feel like a departure for us to have more galloping moments, to have blast beats, things like that,
Yeah.
because the doom part of Chemist has always been more in the heart.
Mm.
It's like that old pop song, Doom is in the heart, right? Uh, and that even though we are playing at relatively fast tempos and that we've got these galloping moments and these death metal moments and these black metal moments, that there's still a level of emotion,
Mm.
like palpable emotion, that in my mind is what makes Chemist. And that if we were to ever turn away from the melody, if we were ever to turn away from those like heartbreaking guitar lines, then we would lose sight of who we are. But because we know that's such a core element of what we do, I think we are always excited to find different ways to bring that to the listener, different tempos, different sort of musical contexts, sometimes with clean guitars, a rarity, of course, in maybe not that much of a rarity in heavy metal, but we love our distorted guitars.
Yeah.
To put it concisely. So I'm really excited that the heart of the band still comes through in such a clear and explicit manner, because the last thing I would ever want to do is have folks feel like there was a bait and switch. They
Mm.
think it's Chemist, they grab the album, they're like, what is this, indie folk electro dance music? Oh my god.
Yeah, man. The best bands, like in this world, like the Crowbars and Spirit Adrift, and they do the same thing as Chemists. You've got that heavy metal side to it. You've got the emotion and the lyrical content and stuff like that meld so well. It's just a sound I love, man. Like it's simple as like you can get nerdy, super nerdy about music, man. But
I
at the
think
end of the day, if it sounds great in your ears, that's all you can hope for when it comes to a new album from a band you love.
the main thing is as well not the bait and switch. You don't want to pick up a Crowbar record and Kurt Weinstein's just whacking out like a pop banger.
Yeah,
You just kind of like,
Exactly.
what is going on?
Exactly.
yeah, mate.
I just
Yeah,
wanted to feel miserable, dude.
yeah. Going back to this idea of doom being in many ways an emotional thing, a spiritual thing, stuff like that.
Mhm.
A thing that comes to mind is when you listen to a band like Yob or Neurosis, the brilliant new Neurosis album.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sick.
There is lyrically and just like holistically a feeling of searching for your place in this world, searching for the place inside of you where you feel most like yourself. And that works at so many different tempos. I mean, take Crowbar, for instance, a band that has D-beat hardcore punk moments and then has these super slow, borderline funeral doom moments. And it works in so many different ways. And yet, if Cannibal Corpse put a new album out and Corpse Grinder walked out on stage and said, for this next song, we're going to be thinking about what's the point of any of this and where do we go when we die? You'd be like, what is... It's not to say that I wouldn't want them to try something like that, but I think we'd all be a little bit taken aback, right?
Yeah.
The genre boundaries being what they are. And that's one of the things that I love about this sort of broad umbrella, or maybe like meta umbrella of doom and doom adjacent music, is that there's room for all of these kinds of questions and feelings and experiences that don't fit as neatly into other subgenres of metal. And then we can blend in all these other flavors so that we're all not just playing the same Sabbath riff over and over.
Yeah, true. Um, so to get nerdy for a little minute,
Let's do it.
I just wanted to ask you, how does the songwriting process in Chemist work? Like, do you all bring in ideas and then flush them out in the rehearsal space, or do you all bring in full songs already and present them to the rest of the guys?
Rarely does someone come in with a full song idea. I mean, no matter what, the rule is always nothing is precious. Doesn't matter how much you love the idea that you're bringing in, it's got to click with everybody,
Yeah,
and it's got to go through the machine. Nothing that any of us brings in ever winds up on an album in the exact same way that it was sort of initially imagined. And we have had that approach for a long time. And initially, I can say for myself, there's that moment of anxiety of like, oh, but this wonderful, precious idea, if I can only explain to them how beautiful and powerful it is, nobody will want to change anything. And you realize that it's collaborating together. It's Phil hears this thing, and if he changes this one note in a way that I never would have expected, it now has this totally new life. That Zach hears this rhythmic shift, that if we just emphasize the upbeat on this one phrase instead of the downbeat, now it's got this openness to it. That Dave, and I can't say enough good stuff about having David Small in this band, will hear things on the bass, and when he brings in these new bass lines, it changes the way we play the guitar. So
mm,
there is absolutely not only a collaborative effort, but a true joy in that collaboration of being excited to see where is everyone going to take this idea that I have. And once we all were able to embrace that, you know, there's never this kind of, uh, you know, uh, secretive resentment that, oh, well, it just would have been better if we'd stuck with it my way. Like, we're all
yeah,
always excited to see, like, how are we going to elevate this thing?
Sick.
That said, we're a guitar band, so it starts with the guitars. Starts with riffs. Again, having David Small in the band now, not only does he rip on bass, but he rips on guitar too. He brought in riffs for this album very early on that really drove the direction for this record. Tomb of Roses was the first song that we wrote for this record, and half, two-thirds of the riffs in that song started with Dave.
wicked.
And it was so satisfying to have him bring these ideas in and not only feel comfortable enough to do that, but to immediately, like, he gets the assignment. He knows what we're all about. He knows how to convey these feelings. Oh, and he knows how to throw us for a loop. He plays this chord, and I would have played this chord. And by playing the chord that Dave plays, oh, now it's got this totally different feel. But as far as the sort of nitty gritty of the songwriting, yeah, we're bringing in these ideas, and we're working remotely. Phil's in
Yeah.
upstate Washington, Zach's all the way out in eastern North Carolina. Eastern North Carolina, what a strange phrase to have to say. But different time zones. So we were having video calls. We've been doing this for years anyway to go over band business stuff, because we found that get the business stuff out of the way so when you're in the room together, you're just worried about the songs.
Yeah.
And we had that in place already. So we're working through these ideas. Everybody's offering feedback. I managed to get all these Luddites to start using Guitar Pro so we could actually update tabs in real time, much like pulling teeth. But it makes such a big difference, because then when everybody flies into town and we get in the space to start, fleshing out these songs and seeing how does it feel in the room. Because
Yeah.
when you see it in Guitar Pro and you're playing along to this perfectly quantized MIDI guitar to where we're demoing out these ideas, you get a general idea, but you really don't know how powerful something is until we're in the room and there's that tempo push pull and everybody's doing their own little thing here and there. And that's when the songs really come to life.
Yeah. It's the bass playing is really noticeable on this record. Like it's a lot of bass playing in metal, it can be quite just rhythmic and it just fills out there's so much interesting stuff going on there that it's nice to you can listen to the album and you can focus on the bass playing by itself, and it's wandering around underneath the riffs, and it's when it needs to just sit in the pocket and along with the drums, it does. It has really brought a new dimension to the sound.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it is a joy to have this new element in the band, and it opens up a lot of moments for us where, because I mean, to say we're a guitar driven band, like, yeah, like that's heavy metal in general, but like when people think about Khemmis, they think guitar harmonies
Yeah.
and guitar leads and wheedly deedlies, and that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But having Dave take these moments where the bass is the, the lead element, or at least the relatively speaking more lead element, lets me and Phil just really riff out and enjoy playing a riff. I mean, there are songs where like I never get to play the riff that I wrote because I've got a lead line and then I got to do the harmony when Phil comes in, and I'm like, well, it was cool to write that riff, I'll never play it again. um and so now we've got these moments where, I mean, take for instance the beginning of Corpse Moon Garden.
Oh,
Before
so good.
Phil's vocals come in, Dave's got this walking bass line where it's not like a Steve DiGiorgio like bass shredding kind of moment, but that's the lead storytelling element. And Phil and I are just jamming out on the riff. So satisfying both as a player and then listening back to the record. And I have just been so tickled at the response that people have had, that people have been so excited to have this more pronounced bass playing, and that people are throwing around, names like Steve Harris and Cliff Burton. And Dave's such a modest guy.
He's
And,
right.
whenever he hears it or we hear it, he's just like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Thank you. Oh, gosh. It's a very exciting, development of the band for sure.
Yeah, man. I'm stoked to hear when you guys come over in October to see live how he puts his spin on the old tunes as well. Whether,
Yeah.
I don't think he'll just play note for note what was on the album. It'll be interesting to hear him working
It's,
around the old tunes and bringing some new
yeah.
life to them.
It's very cool. And, you know, we'd reflected on this recently that even though Dave's a really good bass player and he can just absolutely rip, there's never been a point where we had to say, tone it down a little bit, chill
Yeah.
out. If anything, there have been moments where we're like, dude, you can, if you want to get crazy on this part, get crazy. Like, let's see where it goes. He has such a good ear for where there are where there's space that could be filled out in an interesting way,
Mm.
but also has an understanding of the music holistically, where he recognizes that if you just come in, especially with these older songs that people have been listening to 5, 8, 10 years, and you just start doing something totally different, you change the heart of the song. And now that's kind of not fair to people who fell in love with that song. And he's understood that from the get-go. He just finds these really cool ways. Oh, maybe he's going to follow the guitar harmony here, or maybe he's going to switch halfway through and go back and really lock in with the bass, or sorry, with the kick drum. So many cool little things. So yeah, I'm excited for people to get to see us play all these old songs live with Dave, as well as all the new stuff, of course.
I'm stoked, man. I cannot wait. So this is for sure like Phil and yourselves' best vocal performance, I think. Like in terms of memorable hooks, melodies. Did you guys really focus on that as well for this record?
Yes, and we couldn't talk about the vocal element without talking about our producer Dave Otero,
Oh yeah, man.
who has been the secret weapon in this band from the get-go, has always understood what we were trying to do, and has always found exciting ways to push us, in a producer sense of just like, that could be better, that can be stronger, that can be more interesting, but to also throw out ideas, and that we're always open to those ideas. Like,
Mm.
yeah, let's try this thing. You know what? Let's try having a 3-part, a 4-part vocal harmony. Let's see what happens. What happens if we take this note and we put it right at the top of Phil's range? Yeah, you know what? That does work. Sometimes we go, no, the way we had it is better. But having that extra set of eyes and ears on the project always gives us, these moments of surprise and excitement, and encourages us to work that much harder.
Yeah, man.
It's not like we want to ever feel like we're in competition with ourselves. to be like, well, it has to be better than the last album, because like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
every album has to succeed on its own merits, but also coming off of the touring cycle for Deceiver, where we toured more than we ever had, we did bigger shows than we ever had, we played all those songs so many times, and our playing naturally got better. It's crazy, right? When you do a thing a lot, you get better at it. And then wanting to not show off those chops for the sake of being wankers, I suppose, but to see if we can find even more colors to paint with, or to really mix my metaphors, more spices to cook with that we didn't know that we were lacking before, and to try those things out. And I mean, look, I'm not by any means an objective commenter on our art, but I think that every chorus that Phil sings on this record is just like the most insanely earwormy stuff. Like it
Yep.
gets stuck in my head, which is good when you have to listen to mix revisions and you have to listen to these songs when you're tracking music videos. Like if that wasn't the case, I'd be so sick of hearing this album. But I love that it translates for other people too. They're like, can't stop singing this chorus. And I'm like, yes, that's the point. We want it to infect your brain.
Yeah, that's what I was like I was saying earlier, dude. Like, chemist songs are ones that they slowly work their way in, and you're like, can't stop singing that. What was it from? But this one, it is just like it's more anthemic. The choruses just hit instantly. It's so great to hear you say that like Dave chips in with like ideas and stuff in the studio. As when it comes to like, I mean, it's a wonderful sounding record. When it comes to like tones and things like that, do you guys have frames of reference for, oh, we love the snare tone on this record, or love the guitar tone on that record? Could we bring it into Chemist, or is it just you know what you're looking for when you go into the studio and you know what you want to achieve?
That's a great question. I think it's the latter. I mean, the former exists on a sort of subconscious level that,
Mm,
you know, rarely are we saying like, oh my God, the sound of the guitar on this or this as an explicit reference point. But you listen to enough music over the years and you listen to how other bands that you love experiment with different tones, and the way that for me that sort of winds up shaping your point of reference is less in a sort of like bullet point list of I want the rhythm guitars to sound like, you know, this High on Fire record, but the solo
yeah,
should sound like this, and more sort of abstract, like borderline philosophical, like how do we make these tones line up with what the heart of the album is?
yeah, yeah,
And we knew that we wanted the we knew that the lyrics for this album were going to be fictional, which was a first for us. Everything has always been very personal, a little bit of metaphor to just, you know, offer plausible deniability, but really we were always singing about how sad we are and how much it hurts to be alive. Now we're singing about how sad a fictional character is and how much it hurts for him and the people around him to be alive. But we wanted to have an overall mix and a set of tones that sort of felt even more human, more in the
mm,
room, more approachable, to juxtapose against the more fictional storytelling.
yeah,
We, you know, would never want anything to feel artificial. I mean, we're not the kind of band that's going to go in and put everything on the grid anyway. Like we, you know, we track to a metronome like everyone else, but like we're a rock and roll heavy metal band at heart. There's a lot of push pull. If you listen to the isolated tracks, you'd be like, oh yeah, these are humans playing these songs.
yeah,
And so it winds up being the case that we say things like, oh, you know, we want the drums to feel fuller, rounder. I mean, sometimes more precise language like, oh, we want to have more room sound in the drums, and, you know, less click in the kick drum and more sort of like the low mid thump, but never something to the extent of like, oh, I want the kick to sound just like this one Kurt Ballou produced album, and it has to sound just like that.
yeah,
Because that's the right sound for that band's specific project and the story that they're telling.
hmm,
And it would be trying to put a square peg in a round hole if we tried to just explicitly copy a bunch of disparate elements and then put it together. It, much like the songwriting, it's got to go through the Khemmis machine. I
Yeah.
mean, you could probably give us like gent tones or like gent gear setups, and by the time we got done tweaking it, it would sound like us. You know, the whole Van Halen tone is in the hands thing. Like even some of the amps we used to layer on this record under the oranges, there are layers of like the Driftwood Purple Nightmare, an amp that is a much more modern voiced amp, an amp that people associate with like younger modern bands. Well, damn, we got a big fat old school tone out of it because that's what we're gonna do when you give us that gear.
Yeah, that's the the best heavy metal sounds like you could have plucked this album from the mid 80s and plonked it now. It has to sound not dated to a time, doesn't it? It has to sound organic and warm, and it has to sound human, like you said, but it can't be a record that you go, that's very 1996, or that's very 2026, or that's not. It has to be something that feels timeless, and I think that's really been achieved with this record for sure.
Thank you so much for saying that. That was absolutely the goal. Um, I think we've always done a good job at avoiding any sort of temptation of making an album that sounds like 1976 or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, in large part, this also the credit goes to Dave Otero. Like, even though he's mixing a band of middle-aged guys who, in their hearts and souls, are 20 years older than they actually are, he's not gonna mix it to sound like the first Sabbath record.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not how he mixes albums. And so it's our sort of collective influences and collective musical vocabulary mashed up with his decidedly more modern approach that gets us somewhere in the middle. And it's another example of finding that joy in collaboration, that like he's excited to mix stuff that isn't technical death metal, that doesn't have to be super tight, super modern, super precise with just the right amount of mid scoop. Like, we're not a mid scoop band. We are an all the mid range in the guitars kind of
Oh,
band.
the mids are all there, man.
They gotta be. That's the beautiful part about guitars. And so that finding those crossing over points between how Dave mixes lots of albums and the kind of references that we bring in gives us something like this that I'm happy to say surpasses everyone's expectations. Like, it's what we wanted and then some, and Dave has been excited, the label has been excited. People that we talk to here, and they're like, oh, this is the most like full sounding, human sounding, I don't know, analog or whatever Khemmis album to date. And like, that's what we want. We don't want it to sound dated, but like, we're not a 21st century quote unquote modern metal band. Like, we're not going to have that kind of sound. That would be rough. A Khemmis album mixed like a gent, or what's the thing that comes after gent the kids are playing now? Fall?
Oh, dude, I have no idea, man. Like,
I learned this term recently, and like, I don't know. It's like if gent and new metal had a baby. It's not for me.
Oh
I don't
God.
know. It's what the kids are doing. But
no,
like
no, no.
everything in there is so brick walled, and the guitars are like all the low mids are scooped. It's just aggressive upper mids, and it just sounds like pick scrapes the whole time, and it hurts my head.
Oh, dude, I
And
can't. And
as the
drums
old
sound
man
like
continues to yell,
typewriters.
oh, dude, yeah. As the old man continues to yell at the clouds, nobody wants that from a Khemmis album. We wouldn't want that. And so, finding that balance of, yes, it needs to sound like it was made in the modern era,
Hmm.
because it would be contrived not to. It would be incredibly contrived if we tried to make it sound like 1979 or 1985 or anything like that.
Mm.
Like, technology is what it is, but it should still sound like humans making music for humans,
Yeah,
in this context at least.
absolutely, dude. And talking about that, I guess that ties in really nicely with the artwork. So you've gone with Christopher Remmers on this, and it's a new twist on a familiar theme.
Mm-hmm.
Um, was there a particular reason behind going with someone different on this record?
Yeah, we knew that this album's heart was different than our previous albums. You know,
Mm.
Deceiver was the sound of three guys deciding to remain in this world and continuing to make music together and coming out of the darkest moments of our individual and collective lives. And there was like we had reached the logical conclusion of that level of mining our own pain and suffering. And in wanting to channel and reconnect with that energy from, you know, not only the early days of the band, but to channel the energy that we have all experienced when we first discover heavy metal, that unbridled enthusiasm. I mean, you used the term anthemic before, and like those are the kinds of things that we find ourselves drawn to given the state of everything, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need more art to remind me how depressed I am. I live with mental illness and I have to take medication and I go to therapy every week. I don't need a reminder about that.
Yeah.
What I need is heavy metal that gives me something to hold on to,
Yeah.
something, you know, a glimpse of joy. That's all I'm asking for. It's just a moment of light every now and then, you know?
I think
And
that's probably more important now than ever, especially with AI art, AI music, I mean, fucking hell, dude! Like it's out of
dude,
control. It's
absolutely.
it's so
Like,
out of control.
and recognizing too that like you can, as a listener and as an artist, you can find those feelings from so many different places. Like the
Hmm.
points of reference I have as a 41-year-old man are not going to be the same as a 30-year-old, as a 20-year-old, but the feelings and the experiences are. That first sort of taste of underground metal. Now, it doesn't even have to be that underground, of just finding a community of people that, although imperfect as everything else is in human society, offers the chance at something that feels more like a family, at
Mm.
least at the
Yeah.
best of times, as a
Hmm.
community at the very least, a sense of belonging, and a style of art that, if you're like me, I grew up in a small town in Mississippi. Like pre-broadband internet, everything, I didn't know what was out there. I was i was the good kid in school who still got in trouble for wearing a Slayer t-shirt. Like my mom
Right.
taught at the middle school and I got sent home from the high school across the street for wearing a Slayer shirt. Like that level of feeling isolated and feeling removed from everyone around you. And then the first time I understood there was this metal world out there, holy hell, the
Mm.
excitement that I felt the first time I saw an underground show. 2002, I saw Mastodon, Cephalic Carnage, Soylent Green, and Dysrhythmia. I had a friend, because I didn't have a car, I had a friend that drove me to Memphis, which was about an hour and 15 minutes away. And I mean, it was a spiritual revelation.
Oh yeah, man.
The
Yeah.
first
Yep.
time my brother played Metallica for me, I thought, what the hell is this? Like, these moments are not only important moments in like my evolution as a musician and I think as a human, but as the story of humanity seems to be drawing to a close. um I want I want to not recapture it in the sense of like, oh, I'm just trying to recapture my youth or like revisit the things from when I was a teenager. Because like I don't wish I was a teenager again. I was an idiot then. I don't think the world was like markedly better then. I just didn't know how bad it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But god damn, when I still put on Master of Puppets, when I put on Painkiller, when I put on literally any King Diamond record, I feel something akin to hope.
Yeah.
I feel something that is very clearly joy. And when I get in a room with these three guys who are my three best friends, who I consider to be my brothers, and we make this stuff, I feel the closest to feeling the touch of a divine force that I ever feel. And how does that factor into the album art? Well, if the heart of the album is so fundamentally different and is so fundamentally focused on joy and on a sense of gratitude while still being a dark melodic Khemmis album, it would be unfair to that music to not sort of embrace this new chapter holistically,
Yeah.
to have the visual element make as much of a statement as the music, and the decision to self-title it, are very clear choices in saying this is a new chapter in the story of Khemmis, and we're not playing coy about it. We're not hedging our bets.
Oh,
And again,
dude.
like it's not so like radically different that we have to like become defensive about it or anything.
No,
But if
no,
we
no.
just had an album cover that was the same as the one before, it'd be so easy for people to go, "That's a new Khemmis album."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if it means that much to us, we have to own it on every level.
Oh, absolutely, dude. And it's got a real, just as the music, it's got a real instant impact. It's
That's
very,
lovely.
yeah. The colors are beautiful. It's very
Yeah.
paint on canvas, so it's very human. Um, oh,
Literally
look
just
at
got
that,
Oh,
the
man.
look at
our
Oh,
that.
copies in the mail yesterday.
God,
So
man.
like,
So good.
dude,
Fucking hell, that's sick.
the first ever Chemist gatefold vinyl.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
oh man.
Wow,
Like
dude.
I'm unbelievably excited and proud. And
Holy shit. So you
dude,
should, dude. That's amazing.
man,
Amazing.
chills.
It's beautiful, man. I cannot wait
Yeah.
to. I'm a C. We're CD guys. We just because I know if I go down the vinyl rabbit hole, I'll
I'll
be
be
declared.
homeless.
Yeah, I declare bankruptcy.
Oh,
Oh, look
CD,
at that.
CD, CD. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah. So
no.
we did the jewel case. Why? Okay, I got a question for you.
yeah, man.
Because normally on podcasts, guests come in and ask the host questions. So I've always been a digipack guy.
Okay.
But I have been told that non-American metalheads, by and large, seem to prefer jewel cases. Where do you land on that?
My thing, right, and this might make me sound mental. My thing is dual cases are universal sizes. So on your shelves, they look Digipacks can be some are this big, some are that big, some are this big,
Sure.
some are skinny, some are fat, some open out like three times.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's I think it's an aesthetic how it looks on your shelf thing.
Interesting.
Mm, yeah.
What about you, Jimmy? Oh, wait. Which
We're
I'm
one
both
of you is
Jimmy.
Jimmy?
That's
I just
Daz,
heard
yeah.
That's that.
Okay, because I just
Yeah.
saw you both have the same name on the call, and I was like, wait a minute, are they
Yeah, it's 'cause
twins? They
that's
don't look like twins.
Daz
Yeah.
logged in as me before, so it's like
I
Yeah, I'll
see.
just I'll
Okay.
just stay on here.
yeah,
I'm the same as Jim. I think because of storage purposes as well. Like I usually take the CDs out of the jewel case and I kind of put them in like a plastic wallet, so you can kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
flip through them. And with digipacks, like they just take up so much space. Like
Sure.
you can't sort of condense them down. But I do love a digipack.
yeah. When
I
they
do love a
they
digipack.
they look nicer,
They do, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Word. Well, I
Mm.
mean, hell, I'm glad we did both then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the
Yeah,
label
it's
was
nice
like,
to have the choice.
Yes.
that's it. I was like, well, and from a touring musician perspective, Digipack easier to deal with because jewel cases break.
Yeah,
And like
yeah,
we have a box of jewel cases where it's like eventually we'll get blanks and swap them all around. It's just a nightmare to deal with.
yeah.
Digipack, as long as they don't get just destroyed, crushed, folded up, totally fine. But I hadn't thought about the storage thing, mostly because I haven't regularly collected CDs since I was a teenager. Like I'm a vinyl guy when I can afford to be. And so I just hadn't really thought about that. But as you're saying it, I just imagined, like on the wall. Well, in fact, Trevor Stannad, RIP, my
Yeah,
dude,
God bless you.
like
Yeah.
he
God bless.
very famously had walls of CDs
Yes, yeah, he
in his
did, yeah.
apartment. And just I distinctly remember seeing just like thousands of CDs. And there is that very satisfying element. I guess it's the same with like movies, right? Where like
Yep.
DVD and Blu-ray cases are largely universal, so you just get everything all the way across, same height, same width, and it's just yeah. That
For the
makes sense.
OCD, it's
Okay.
good.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just quick side note, we spoke to Trevor on the show years ago, and
Yeah.
he said to us, a day a CD doesn't drop through the post is a sad day for him. He's like every day he goes to the mailbox and there's a new CD or five
Dude.
arriving through the
Well, I mean, he was just such a legend. Like, what an awesome dude. You know, like I got to make buddies with him over the years, and Khemmis, we did some tours and we did a tour together in like 2018, I guess. We did some festivals together and stuff. But even before then, I play in another band called Glacial Tomb, a death metal band.
Sick band.
And
Sick
well,
band.
thank you. Out of nowhere one day, I get a merch order from Trevor Stannad, like didn't know him
Amazing.
from Adam, and it was just he bought a shirt and a CD and stuff, and I was like, oh my god! And then when we actually met in person, a year or so later, I said something about it. He was like, oh dude, like I didn't even realize you were the same guy at first, and all this stuff, and I was like, what an awesome guy! Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk about Trevor and his legacy without feeling very sad and having bigger conversation around mental health. But I won't say and I think like there's a cat whose love for metal reminds me of what's so special about metal.
Yes.
Yes.
He was the living epitome of it.
Oh my god, absolutely.
Yep.
Like it gives us all something to remind ourselves why this music matters to us, and that it matters in a way that like I never want to say this and seem like I'm putting down other styles of music, but like there's not the level of like spiritual connection with the music form that there is in metal that you see in almost any other kind of music.
100%. 100%.
There's something I often think about with heavy metal, and it doesn't happen with any other music. The first time you hear it, you either go, "What the fuck is that?" or you go, "What the fuck is that?"
Yes,
Like,
yes,
do you know what I mean? You
absolutely,
have
yes.
there's extreme reactions, like, and you either hate it or you dive so headfirst in that you never come back out again.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why it's the best, man. And this is
Yeah.
coming from a guy who also listens to Steely Dan like a couple times a week. So like I don't only listen to metal. It's just
Yep.
I love metal in a way I don't love any other kind of music.
The same as us, man.
Yeah.
So that leads us very nicely, dude, onto the last segment. I know you guys have been doing your heavy metal memories on YouTube and Instagram and bits and bobs. So we've got a classic metal, this or that for you. We're
Okay.
going to give you 2 albums, and you just got to choose one or the other.
Okay. Okay.
And I apologize in advance for some of these. So the first one is Judas Priest, Defenders of the Faith, or Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind.
Jesus.
I know, man. So
He's the worst of this. He's the worst
gotta
of
go.
this.
I just gotta go with my gut, Defenders of the Faith.
that's it. That's how you have to do it. Straight from the gut.
Yeah.
Shoot from the hip, baby.
Yeah.
I mean that's it. But I'm also not bummed if either one ever comes on. You
No,
know?
that's it.
Yeah.
No. Luckily, these are just hypothetical. So no,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
one's knocking on your door now and taking your peace of mind copy away from you.
Bruce is actually right outside waiting. He's got brass knuckles on.
yeah. The second one is Dio, Holy Diver, or Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz.
Oh, Holy Diver. Holy Diver 100%.
Oh wow.
I don't even have to wait. Nothing against solo Ozzy, but Holy Diver is just it's all of it, man. I love Dio. I mean, I'm firmly in not that everything should be a competition, but if I have to pick a version of Sabbath, it's Dio Sabbath every single time.
Dude, I love Dio Sabbath. I love Dio Sabbath.
Oh my
so
god,
much.
so good.
Yep. And the last one then, Sabotage, Hall of the Mountain King, or King Diamond's Fatal Portrait.
Oh, King Diamond. Oh, King Diamond. It's absolutely the king.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
I noticed you said that earlier, so I knew that. I knew the answer to that one.
King Diamond is one of those acts that like I'm never surprised if someone says not for me, because King was not for me for a long time. Merciful
Same.
Fate. The only time I liked Merciful Fate was when someone else covered it. I love Metallica's Merciful Fate medley on Garage Inc. Couldn't get into it, and then one day my brain just went, actually, I think King Diamond is the best. And
What happened to
it
me?
just like that switch flipped, and now I've gotten to see King live 3 or 4 times. Ah, so good. Like that's what
The best.
someone asked me recently, they said, if money was no object, what would you want to do for a Khemmis live show? And I was like, I want to get as close to a King Diamond live show as possible. Just like everything from the, stained glass window to the elevated second story with the the stairs straight from a 19th century mansion to having actors come out and play
Yeah.
it's so good. And some people will roll their eyes and say, oh, that's cheesy. They'll say, what do the kids say? They'll say Unk is cracked or whatever. And like, I don't give a shit. I think it rips. I love that level of over the top production. It's not for every band, but God, it's so good. So good.
Oh man, if heavy metal's not over the top, then what is it? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing
that's
here?
it.
Come on.
Like, like I recently finished listening to Halford's autobiography, and it's so good. And if there was ever any doubt for anyone as to why he is the metal god, read or listen to his autobiography. And one of
I'm
the
on it.
things that struck me is he knows the score. He knows that he's dressing up like a leather daddy to go on stage. The first time he got on that Harley, he wasn't thinking, this is the most badass thing anyone has ever done. He was like, this is insane, and I'm going to do it. And also, it might go badly. And there are times when it has gone badly, and it doesn't matter. I'm going to wear a denim trench coat covered in patches that weighs like 30 pounds. And then I'm gonna go put on my gym shorts and my Crocs after the set. Like, he knows what it is.
Yeah.
He has fun with it. It's a palpable sense of joy, but he's never making fun of it. Same with King. He takes what he does very seriously. He knows he's painting upside down crosses on his face and then putting on a top hat like some sort of morgue attendant, but like he also knows that this art form is sacred, and that those moments with the fans when everybody is singing along, when everybody says grandma out loud together, we are in church together, that it is a beautiful transcendent moment. And those are the moments where, for me, heavy metal's at its best. It knows it's a little bit over the top, but it is also straight from the heart.
Absolutely. Dude, this chat has given me a palpable sense of joy. So
It has me too, dude.
honestly,
I'm buzzing
thank
off
you.
my tits.
Thank you
Dude,
so
thank
much
you so
for
much. It was an
joining
absolute
us.
joy to be here with you.
Yeah,
Thank you. It's an honor, privilege.
Yeah, and the album gives me a palpable sense of joy as
Yeah.
well. So like I can't wait for everyone to hear it. 12th of June, Nuclear Blast, Chemists are coming to take the album of the year spot. That's all I'm saying.
Oh goodness, thank you so much. Yeah. There's something for everybody. I'll say that. If you like it fast, you like it slow, you like it kind of sad, you like it really sad, we got all the flavors and shades of sad you could imagine.
They got you covered, man. I've popped a link in the in the episode description to your Bandcamp as well. So please pick up a copy, whether it's on digipack, jewel case, vinyl, tape, whatever your flavors are. You know, there's one for you.
Betamax.
Yeah. 8-track.
8-track.
Ben, thank you again, man, for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure, and honestly, best of luck with the record, dude. We will be back very soon. Until then, party on, dudes.